Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. The Lakers are picking here, and I think that this is one of the more interesting spots to draft in the first round because if I was a Lakers fan, I would have been really hoping that one of Grady Dick or Jordan Hawkins would have fallen to me at 17, right?
Yeah.
Or even to Jed Howard, someone that could be a shooter to put around LeBron James. I don't know if there is anybody left on the board right now that is a good enough shooter or a good enough prospect that you could draft him in this spot. But you know who's still on the board right now? Cam Whitmore.
I almost hope he slides past this one and goes to Miami.
I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah, I don't like Cam with the Lakers.
You know who I like Cam with?
Miami.
Jimmy Butler.
Miami. Yep.
Yeah.
Miami. That would be great for him.
So who do you like here for the Lakers, RC?
Oh, Jalen Hood-Schifino makes some sense.
That's exactly literally who I was going to say.
Who do you say?
Your boy,
Jalen Hood-Schifino.
Jalen Hood-Schifino.
I'm gonna tell you the two guards I like for the rest of this draft, no matter where they go, is Jalen Hood-Schifino and Kobe Jones.
All right, talk to me about Jalen. We agree on Kobe.
I just, I hope that that's what they decide to go to.
Guess what, RC? Guess what? Shams just came through. You know who the Lakers got? Jalen Hood-Schifino. They got your boy. All right, talk to me about that fit. Talk to me about why it makes sense. Why you like it so much.
I think his upside is tremendous. I just like him. I mean, we don't know, and I said this to Goodman early in the year. He's the guy to me. Forget all the draft status and everything else. We talk about what guys can be. What he did to the Indiana team when Xavier Johnson got hurt, and they put the ball in his hands. I thought he showed everything you need to look. He showed you he could be a high-level playmaking, right decision-making closer. And if he at 6'6", if he can translate that to be a point guard, that's massive.
Yeah.
And if he and the reason why I say that to people is because if he goes off to the wing, he's not an elite athlete. So if he goes off to the wing, he's a good enough. But he goes up to the wing, then that's negated. You put him as your point guard, and obviously with LeBron being there, he's going to dominate the ball. But as a point guard at his size, man, I think his upside, I really think he got a chance to be special. It's just that, I think he'll be a solid veteran player because, 10-year player or so. But if he can become a point guard, I think his ceiling can go through the roof.
I think he is.
That's my thing. He projects as an NBA 1, and there's a difference between Jalen Hood-Schifino's version of 6'5", 6'6", and Jordan Hawkins' version of 6'5", 6'6". I think he's ready to play and defend
day one.
From day one. And it doesn't have to be with the first unit. It can be with that second unit because the Lakers have some guys in those spots to where he doesn't have to be great right away, but he could be serviceable right away. And I think he could be a long-time pro because of a lot of the things that he does. I'm a big fan. Big body, really skilled, had some really good games. One of the main reasons Indiana was back.
Here's what I'll say about
his size and his ability to switch as a defender is something I think the Lakers value with that. He's a guy, you don't have to hide him. It's like he's physical enough as a big guard that you're going to be able to switch in their lineup.
Here's what I'll say about Hood-Schifino. I think is there's two things that stand out to me. The first is I think he is a good, willing defender. Like, I think that how everyone will say he's got that dog in him, right? Like, I think he does. He's kind of like a quiet, laid-back dude. But I think he's got that in him, right? We saw it was it the Purdue game at home when he took over down the stretch? He had like 35. That was Purdue, right? And two, what we saw in that game was his ability to kind of get to that like mid-range pull-up, right? That's where he was a killer. It was like 13 to 17 feet off the bounce. Zach Edey's playing drop coverage, right? He squares you up. He waits to get you off balance and knocks down that little 15-footer. If you can shoot like that from 15 feet off the dribble, the way that he can, then I am convinced that you're going to be able to extend that range out when you get beyond being just a freshman in college, right? So I'm buying him as a shooter long term, which means I don't think he's just a guy that's going to have to be a point guard, right? And I see a lot of value in players that are it's kind of like the Tyrese Halliburton mold, if that makes sense, where they can do all the stuff as a point guard, but they're good enough shooters where you could play him off the ball so you can go and get another creator next to him. Does that make sense? I think he can be one of those guys. I would not be surprised to see him kind of hit that level of maybe not the exact same player as Halliburton, but the same kind of impact. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
I like the comparison.
Wasn't
I get what you're
Halliburton an
saying.
All-Star? Was Halliburton an
Yeah.
All-Star?
Yeah. I mean, he's right. He's paid like one.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that he's paid like an all-star. I'm a big fan of this kid. I really am. I think he has his upside is tremendous. It's, let's see how much with so much thrown at him, and then now he's going to a situation where veteran guys have struggled under the presence of LeBron and the pressure that comes with doing that. And so let's see how he responds to that. Now, in some aspect, that's a bit much. But playing with those guys at 6'5", 220, he'll have, they'll take some of that pressure off of him, but as much as they can.
What do you make of the Lakers now at this point, right? You're dealing with a LeBron who's not getting any younger. You got Anthony Davis there who can be dominant, but is a guy who, always injured, and it feels like once he kind of hits that wall and he gets tired, you don't get anything out of him. Like, is adding Hood-Schifino the kind of thing that can make them better day one? Because you're not trying to bet on a guy that's going to be an impact player in 5 years. Like, you need to win now if you're the Lakers. That window is closing with LeBron James.
You know what I think? I'll add that just to you. I think this pick had a lot to do with who the Lakers feel they're going to have to go through next year to get back, and that's Denver. Denver was massive this year.
Yeah.
They're just a massive team. And now a team like the Lakers are knowing, like, hey, we got to draft. We need size. We need perimeter. We need guard size because, we need somebody that can – I'm not saying he's going to come in and bother Jamal Murray. He needs to be able to see you, though. And as a 6'6" guard, he's going to know that he's at least there. And he's someone that, comp-wise, that I was saying, I think that's the type of player that Hood-Schifino should just strive to be like. But I think they needed the big guard instead of the smaller guards that Murray just was too big, too physical to match up with.
Mm-hmm. All right, so pick 18 is on the board. It's the Miami Heat. They've made it to the NBA Finals this past season. Right?
That's Cam all day.
That's got to be Cam. I mean, bring it. Say, talking about low assist rates, doesn't pass the ball, only looking to shoot. Like, you don't have a choice if you're going to play with Jimmy Butler than to play the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people would have thought that about him going into Villanova, being a ball stopper. Villanova thrives on ball movement, all that stuff. He didn't do that this year. Like, you go there and you play with Jimmy Butler, go ahead and try to be selfish. Go ahead and try to be selfish. It's not going to work. So you take a guy with elite scoring upside and you put him in that Heat culture. And I feel like that's just such an overused thing, but I think it's a real thing because you have that many undrafted guys that can fit into something like that. It makes too much sense. And I feel like he could really thrive with that type of leadership in front of him.
How does this?
I think that'll they need a stretch four maybe. If they don't take Cam, I think like a stretch four, somebody else to. Because Butler played a lot of four when they went to their small ball lineup.
How does this impact a kid, right? If we're talking about Cam Whitmore, right? You're supposed to be a top 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pick, right? And we're sitting here, it's 10:03 in the PM, right? How does that? Is this something where are you worried about him? Is it something where you say like, okay, you use this as motivation?
I'm gonna tell you this. So. This is the one thing that's funny when we were joking earlier about me getting drafted, and I remember talking to Sacramento, and they ended up going with Corliss Williamson, and it was a 2-2. One of the guys I knew, one of the coaches was a DC guy, and he called my representation, and they put me on the phone, and he said, "Right now, we're split. The room is 2-2, and the owner's gonna go. The owner's gonna make the final pick. This is like 12th, right?" And they went with Corliss Williamson. So at this point, it doesn't matter. It ain't like football where you just draft the best guy. In NBA, it's got to be a fit. There's got to be a need. And then when you start, as I said, you getting into these realms, you're getting into teams that have really good players or a lot of money invested into that. So for me going from 12th to when I tell y'all 19th, I can honestly tell you where I was when my name got called. I grabbed my dogs and started walking my damn dogs down the street that by the time my name got called, they had to call me and I had to run back in the house to talk to the team. Because I was just losing my damn mind. I mean, you was sitting there because I was like, I didn't go. And I literally, at that point, when they called and I didn't get drafted, I mean, it didn't take me to 11 or 12, whatever it was. I just said 13, I think it was. And I'm like, holy shit. I just went outside, man. I grabbed 2 more picks later. I went and started walking my dogs.
It's always tough for the guys that get stuck in the green room, right?
Oh,
You always feel bad for them when they
Miami just made an interesting pick.
Yeah, well, I saw it. I'll get to it in 1 second, but you always feel bad for them where the ESPN cameras are zooming in on their faces, right? Like it's never, you never want that for a player in that situation. Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks. Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.